we have to bring energy
Yeah.
prices down. Energy started it. The price of gasoline. Now your cars don't require too much gasoline, so you have a good, and you do make a great product. I have to say, I have to be honest with you.
Thank
That
you.
doesn't mean everybody should have an electric car, but these are minor details. But your product is incredible. But the
Thank you.
gasoline, Elon, is the cost of energy. Not only gasoline, it's the cost of heating your house and cooling your house. That has
Sure.
to come down. It's gone up 100%, 150, and 200%, and that has to come down. When that comes down, and we're going to
Yeah.
drill, baby, drill. They stopped drilling, and then they went back to drilling because they went back to the Trump policy. But if they won the day after they get into office, this country will go out of business because they're going to go to an energy policy that's not sustainable. Wind and different things. You're not going to have anything.
Yeah.
And I know you're a big fan of the AI, and I have to say
Yeah.
that AI, and this is shocking to me, but AI requires twice the energy that the country already produces for everything. So you're going to have to build. We're going to have to build a lot of energy if our country will be competitive with China, because that's our primary competitor for this on the AI. You're
Sure.
going to need a lot of
Well, I mean,
electricity. You're going to need tremendous
yeah.
electricity, like almost double what we produce now for the whole country, if you can believe it.
Sure. Well, just going, back to this, like this basic thing, which that people try to make it sound complicated, but it's not. But inflation is caused by government
Right.
overspending. Would you agree that we need to take a look at government
Yes.
spending and have perhaps a government efficiency commission that just tries to make the spending sensible and so the country lives within its means, just like a
The
person does?
waste is incredible.
I mean, I think it would be great to just have a government efficiency commission that takes a look at these things and just ensures that the taxpayer money, the taxpayers' hard-earned money, is spent in a good way. I'd be happy to help out on such a commission
I'd love
if
it.
it were formed.
Well, you're the greatest cutter. I mean, I look at what you do. You walk in and you just say, "You want to quit?" They go on strike.
Yeah.
I won't mention the name of the company, but they go on strike, and you say, "That's okay. You're all gone. You're all gone." So every one of you is gone, and you are the greatest. You would be very good. Oh, you would love it. But if you look at Argentina,
Well, I'd be happy to
yeah. By
help
the way,
out.
congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I should probably say something about, like, maybe my views on climate change
Yeah.
and oil and gas, because I think I'm probably different from what most people would assume, because my views are actually pretty, I think, moderate in this regard, which is that I don't think we should vilify the oil and gas industry and the people that have worked very hard in those industries to provide the necessary energy to support the economy. And if we were to stop using oil and gas right now, we would all be starving, and the economy would collapse. So I don't think it's right to sort of vilify the oil and gas industry, the world has a certain demand for oil and gas, and it's probably better if the United States provides that than some other
Sure.
countries, and it would help with prosperity in the U.S. And at the same time, obviously, my view is like, we do over time want to move to a sustainable energy economy, because eventually you do run out of. I mean, you run out of oil and gas. It's not infinite. Um, and there is some risk. I think the risk is not as high as a lot of people say it is with respect to global warming. But I think if you just keep increasing the parts per million in the atmosphere long enough, eventually it actually simply gets uncomfortable to breathe. People don't realize this. If you go past 1,000 parts per million of CO2, you start getting headaches and nausea. And so we're now in the sort of 400 range. We're adding, I think, about roughly 2 parts per million per year. So I mean, it still gives us. So what it means is, like, we still have quite a bit of time, but so there's not, like, we don't need to rush, and we don't need to, like, stop farmers from farming, or you know uh, prevent people from having steaks, or
Right.
basic stuff like
Right.
that. Like you can leave the farmers alone,
I agree.
in
How
my opinion.
crazy is that, where
I mean,
you have farmers that are not allowed to farm anymore and have to get rid of their cattle, and the whole world is
yeah,
a
that's
little
silly.
crazy, but it's largely taken its lead from us. I just say, though, I've heard, in terms of the fossil fuel, because even to create your electric car and create the electricity needed for the electric car. Fossil fuel is what really creates that at the generating plants. And, so you sort of can't get away from it at this moment. I mean, someday you might be able to, but I do hear we have anywhere from 100 to 500 years left. Much of it hasn't even been found yet,
Yeah.
but there are tremendous.
I mean, and my estimate would be, a little more aggressive than that, but it's not the sort of like we're all going to die in 5 years stuff. That's obviously BS. Um, but I mean, my view is like if you just look at sort of the parts per million that increments every year, you get sort of 2 or 3 parts per million every year of CO2. Uh, y- I mean, I think some of that it's problematic if it accelerates if you start going from 2 or
Right.
3 to say 5, and then there may be some situations where you get just a step change increase in the CO2. And I think we don't want to get too close to 1,000 ppm because like that's actually makes it uncomfortable to breathe. Like just existing in 1,000 ppm CO2 is uncomfortable. That's like that's considered like an industrial hazard.
Right.
Just so it's that's actually you start getting headaches and stuff. So it's even without global warming, it's not comfortable to live with. So you don't want to get too close to that. But I mean, I think we've got. I think we want to just move over and like, and if I don't know, 50 to 100 years from now, we're I don't know, mostly sustainable. I think that'll probably be okay. Um, so it's not like the house is on fire immediately, but I think it is something we need to move towards. And on on balance, it's probably better to move there faster than slower. But like I said, without vilifying the oil and gas industry, and without causing hardship in the short term. I think this can be done um, without but people can still have a stake, and they can still drive gasoline
Sure.
cars, and it's okay. It's like it's not. I don't think we should vilify people for it, but I think we should just generally lean in the direction of sustainability. And I actually think solar is going to be a majority of Earth's energy generation in the future, and it's certainly trending that way. And so you get the solar power, combine that with batteries, so because obviously the sun doesn't shine at night, and then you use that to charge the electric cars, and you have a long-term sustainable solution. And that's what Tesla is trying to move things towards, and I think we've made a lot of progress in that regard. But when you look at our cars, we don't believe that environmentalism, that caring about the environment should mean that you have to suffer. So we make sure that our cars are beautiful, that they drive well, that they're fast, they're sexy. I mean, they're cool. In fact, literally, I made this sexy joke: Model S, Model 3, Model X, and Y spells out sexy. It's probably the most expensive joke out
Right.
there. Um, but I don't know, I like cheesy humor, so, um, but I'm not, I'm a big fan of like, let's have an inspiring future, and
Yeah.
let's work towards, a better future, and we can do so without demonizing
Right.
people. There's the bad side of nuclear, which is a nuclear war, very bad side, but there's also, I think, nuclear electricity generation is
Absolutely. You're
underrated.
right.
And it's actually, people have this fear of nuclear electricity generation, but it's actually one of the safest forms of electricity generation. It's just a huge misunderstanding. Um, and if you look at the injuries and deaths, caused by, say, I mean, I'm not going to try to pick on coal mining, but just any kind of mining
Right.
operation, and there's a certain number of injuries and deaths per year. And you compare that to nuclear. Nuclear is actually way better. So it's underrated as an electricity source, and I think it's something that's worth reconsidering. But there's so much regulation that people can't get it done. So that
Maybe they'll have
sort
to
of
change the
have it,
name. The name is just, it's a rough name. There are some areas
yeah, it's a rough
like when
name.
you see what happened in,
Good bad
right,
branding. The
we'll have to
branding's rough.
rebrand it. We'll have to give it a good name. We'll name it after you or something. You know,
No,
no,
I
it has
think
a, hey, it has a branding problem. When you see what happened in,
it does have a branding problem.
when you see what happened in Japan, where they say you won't be able to go on the land for about 3,000 years. Did you ever see that? And in Russia, where they had the problem, where they, there's a lot of bad things happened, and they have a problem. And they say that in 2,000 years, people will start to occupy the land again. You realize it's pretty bad.
No,
But
that's not true.
but there's You're
Well, no,
right
no,
about it. It's amazing.
it's actually not that bad. So like after Fukushima happened in Japan, like people were asking me in California, are we worried about like a nuclear cloud coming from Japan? I'm like, no, that's crazy. It's actually it's not even dangerous in Fukushima. I actually flew there and ate locally grown vegetables on TV to prove it. Um, and I donated a solar water treatment, a solar powered system for a water treatment plant, and
Yeah, but you haven't
because the
been
danger
feeling
is
so
just
well lately, and I'm worried about
no,
it.
no, but I mean,
I'm
it's just
only kidding.
it's
I mean,
fine, It's like Hiroshima and Nagasaki were bombed, but now they're like full cities again. So
right.
it's
Well, that's
really
great.
not
That's
something
great.
that
That's
um,
great.
so it's not as scary as people think, basically. But
Yeah.
I'd just like to note to people listening, like I've not been very political before, and if you look at my record, I've actually been. I'm not like some they try to paint me as like a far right guy, which is absurd because I'm like making electric vehicles and solar and batteries helping with the environment and I actually I supported Obama. I stood in line for 6 hours to shake Obama's hand when he was running for president, and so it's not like I'm like some sort of dyed in the wool long term Republican. I call myself uh, historically a moderate Democrat, but now I feel like we're really at a critical juncture for the country, and uh, I think a lot of people thought the Biden administration would be a moderate administration, but it's not, and obviously we're just going to see an even further left uh, administration with Kamala. That's my honest opinion. I mean, her dad is literally. I mean, she was brought up as an actual. Her dad is a Marxist economist. You can Google it. I mean, it's not a. We're not making this up. That's how she was brought up. So, and we want to have a future that is prosperous. And I think we're just at this critical juncture, and I think this is a case of the America is kind of at a fork in the road,
It's true.
and I think it will take if the path to, like you are the path to prosperity, and I think Kamala is the opposite. Then that's my honest opinion. I'm gonna get attacked like crazy, and I've also experienced quite a bit of lawfare myself. And but I'm just trying to tell people my honest opinion, and I haven't been really active in politics before, and I'm just trying to point out that my track record historically has been moderate, if not moderate, slightly left, and so this is to people out there who are in the moderate camp to say I think you should support um, Donald Trump for president. And I think it's actually a very important junction in the road, and we're in deep trouble if it goes the other way.
Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Quick shout out to my newest patron, Hans B. Thank you for choosing to support the channel. We'll zip through a few news items so they don't get lost in the shuffle with the Elon and Trump interview. There's been so much disinformation out there, I was finally able to find the truth. So far, Elon has spent about $21 million supporting Trump and the proper voting protocols. Reminder, that $45 million per month number everybody's still throwing around is still very wrong. A few weeks back, we were talking about Tesla Energy and the UPO's unsatisfied performance obligations. Well, as it turns out, the Rebellionaire team reached out to Tesla IR and they actually got a response. A long story short, the best way to think about these UPOs that are roughly $5 billion for Tesla right now, it's really just a backlog of orders with a contract of 1 year or more. But the main clarification to make here, there was some speculation that these UPOs could carry between 90 and 100% margins for Tesla, mainly because the cost of goods sold were already recognized. But Tesla IR has now said that's not the case, so when these UPOs do actually hit the financials, they're not going to be carrying 100% margins. They'll be more in line with the regular ongoing margins of Tesla Energy. Thus, the easiest way to think about this for the future, the UPO balance is really just the backlog of orders for Tesla's Megapack. And credit to the Rebellionaire team for reaching out and getting that information. You Canadians that are still awaiting your Model 3 Performance delivery, you may be getting it from either China or now Fremont as well. There were some fears out there that the cars coming from Shanghai would have a bit worse performance because they get the 79 kilowatt hour pack from LG, where the Model 3 Performance from Fremont has historically been getting the 82 kilowatt hour pack from Panasonic. However, Drive Tesla Canada is reporting that even Fremont is now going to be using the 79 kilowatt hour pack from LG for these cars built at Fremont that are being sent to Canada. So you Canadians, whether you get your Model 3 Performance from China or Fremont, they're going to have the same battery pack. Whole Mars was asking if 12.5.1.3 will be available on Hardware 3 as soon as Elon mentioned, to which Elon said the team is working on it. This will be a different release number. The 10-day timeline has come and gone. Right now, I would say it's looking like about 2 weeks. 24/7 Tesla put out a quick video showing the updated progress on Tesla's diner in Hollywood, and as you can see, the exterior is now being finished with steel. Yes, it looks futuristic, but it also makes it look a little retro as well, which I think is what they're going for. The local news in Malaysia is reporting that a representative from Tesla will be meeting with Malaysia's Ministry of Investment on August 22nd to discuss Tesla's investment plans in the country. All we get for now is that an official statement would be released following the meeting with Tesla. On Tesla's order configurator for the Cybertruck, the range extender is $16,000, but now they're saying production planned to begin in early 2025. The expectation is the range extender was going to take the all-wheel drive version from 320 miles up to 470, and the Cyber Beast from 301 miles up to 440, which means the extender could add up to 150 miles of range. In a recent interview talking about electric mobility, Oliver Bloom said the technology is far superior to the combustion engine. With the right electricity mix, it significantly contributes to climate protection. He said what's needed is binding legislation that clearly favors electric mobility. The auto industry is long cyclical and needs binding regulations, so not this back and forth that's expected right now in America. And when he was asked about partnering with XPeng and Rivian to use their technology, he said, "We can't do everything ourselves, but it's crucial to have 100% access to and management of our own architecture." Well, I'm not quite sure what he means about architecture, because the whole Rivian partnership is really Rivian providing its entire electrical architecture. But this is a clear admission they don't have the talent or the drive to do everything themselves, which means in the long run, they're going to be giving up all of that margin to somebody else. Rivian just held an event in Pasadena, and the employees said that the Rivian induction stove is going to be out by the end of the month, and it'll cost $1,400. Waymo said starting today, our employees will also have access to fully autonomous rides on San Francisco freeways, which in some cases will result in cutting down ride times by about half, going from 40 minutes down to 20. Waymo may not be setting the whole world on fire, but they are indeed making steady progress. There's some ridiculous reporting out there and disinformation about the Cybertruck and the more affordable models. Just know it's all nonsense. Just because the more affordable vehicle isn't available to configure right now does not mean it's been canceled. For now, it's still just the Foundation Series all-wheel drive and Cyber Beast. Any more affordable models will be coming in the future. In Texas, Ford and TXU Energy have just started a new free EV miles program that offers Ford customers the opportunity to charge their vehicle at home entirely for free. Ford EV customers will get a credit on their energy bill for all home energy used for vehicle charging during the free charging hours, which are between 7 p.m. and 1 p.m. the next day all year long, which is a window of 18 hours. But if for some reason the customer can't charge or set the charge for that time, they will pay a simple fixed rate, the same rate as the rest of their home. The program allows these Ford customers to earn these bill credits regardless of what hardware they use to charge their vehicle. Both companies are highlighting the benefits of owning an EV, and both companies are encouraging users to charge their EVs at off-peak hours, which of course is better for the grid. As expected, BYD is already making workaround plans for these EU tariffs. They plan to leverage the Turkish EU agreement agreement to export cars into the EU through Turkey. In Queensland, we have another battery storage project entering construction. This a 1,200 megawatt hour project, which marks the start of the transformation of the major coal center into a green energy hub. The Stanwell battery will use 324 Tesla Megapack 2XLs, and it's one of 8 major battery projects now under construction in Queensland. It is nice to see the top selling EVs in Europe year to date for this year are still the Model Y and Model 3 by a wide margin, but we have to remember it's really Tesla against itself. And in that competition, Tesla is actually losing so far this year. It's just that the rest of the competition really is still trying to figure it out. I just think too many people see these charts and then start sharing the narrative that Tesla is killing it in Europe this year, and zooming out looking at the big picture and what they did last year, that's just not accurate. Tesla stock closed the day at $197.49, down 1.25%, while the Nasdaq was up 0.21%. It was another very low volume day for Tesla, trading about 55 million shares below the average volume the past 30 days. Heads up on Electrified scheduling this week. There will be no video from me on Thursday or Friday, as I have a golf trip with my family through the weekend. So 2 more videos this week, Tuesday and Wednesday. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like the video if you did. You can find me on X linked below, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.